Yeah, look, Walshy was a fantastic midfield manager, strategist, and a significant loss to the club. We acknowledge that. But in Michael, what you bring to the club is an elite midfielder in his own right, one of the greatest of all time, I would say. An AFL coach, senior coach with 5 years' experience. For a young, emerging midfield group that we've got, I don't think you get a better role model than that. And so we're thrilled with the appointment, to be honest.
How big a get for the club is this? You look at all the gets you've had in recent years.
Yeah, no, look, I
stand right up there.
I think it's really significant. I think that it's building on a platform that started with Ken and Burjo 2 or 3 years ago. We put into place people like Josh Carr and Matthew Nix, and now we bring in more quality. I think it's the significance of his pedigree that elevates it from our point of view, and that it's a continuation of a really high quality program that we've been building for a couple of years, and we didn't want to lose any momentum with the loss of Phil, and I think we've been able to do that. You
talk about your midfield being already good, young, emerging. Could he help take it to the next level?
I think he will. I know our guys are very excited about it. We've spoken to Boki and Robbie Gray and Hamish, and what they're looking for is that they're hungry for success, they're hungry to learn, and they're hungry for the sort of values that successful people bring to their trade. And Vossy has a reputation for being a fearsome competitor, really hard worker, great know-how, and we think he brings a really significant contemporary midfield approach to the game, and our blokes will get a lot out of that.
Are the players normally consulted before this sort of appointment?
No, well, they weren't consulted here, and it's very difficult. They're all away on holidays, and these things move very quickly at times, and they move around. But so no, we wouldn't consult generally, but they were really pleased with it.
How did it come about?
Good question. Sean Hart has a relationship with Michael, and I've got a feeling that there was a conversation which wasn't dismissed out of hand, if you like, between he and Sean, and then we just really took that up and started to explore where Michael was at in his life and his career. And in his mind, he had a 2-year commitment in media. He was 1 year through that. I know that was quite a difficult decision for him to make. He felt like he needed to give himself a couple of years out of the game just to freshen up. Then there was the family consideration. He's got three young children, and he needs to bring them down. So there was quite a bit for him to think about. But I think as he worked through the process, it became obvious to him that coaching was very much in his blood, and he became increasingly excited by the prospect of working with Ken and this group and the club. So he made the call. So it sort of evolved over about a week. It didn't take that long, to be honest.
What you might lose in strategy with Phil, you pick up with Voss's know-how, as you spoke about, the ability to get the best out of the midfield, or was he still pretty good strategically?
Yeah, look, I think that Phil built a real reputation as a great right-hand man, and therefore strategy, is a very big part of that, and so he became known for it. Vossy has a broader background in that he went straight into senior coaching, and so that as a support for Ken, I think that's really significant. There's nothing like coaching your own team. So you've got that very senior support for Ken, and that great know-how, midfield know-how that he'll bring to the playing group. So I think that there's a really nice sort of joint benefit associated with Vossy. Now, in regards to how good is he strategically, to be honest, I don't know that yet because, as I said, he's been in a different role, but he certainly brings a lot to the table.
No disrespect to Phil, but could be better off getting what Voss, what he brings to the squad?
I don't want to say that, but we certainly won't lose any momentum in my view. I think that he will bring a great energy, and new fresh approach. He comes out of a really successful program. A 3-time premiership captain. So he knows how to win. He played many years under Lee Matthews, which is a huge learning opportunity. As I said, he coached in his own right. Not easy to do, and so he brings things that Phil didn't bring, but the same goes the other way.
When does he start?
Well, he'll be here on Tuesday. It'll be our first opportunity. He's on holidays, as is Ken, so that's why he's stuck with me, to be honest. But so he'll be here on Tuesday, and then he'll come back when the players return, and he'll be here. His family will come, I think, early in the new year.
What sort of deals are you on? Is there a term to his deal?
It's a multi-year deal, so I don't want to go into the details of that, but it's a multi-year deal, and he's very keen to get started and and get back into the swing of coaching. I think he missed it more than he thought he would, and even though having really enjoyed his media exposure and experience, which he did well, I think he's really keen to get back into it.
It helps the recruit settle into Alberton, no doubt.
Yeah, they know each other pretty well. I hadn't thought about that, but I'm sure that's a benefit as well.
A few open coaching jobs going around the Bulldogs, Gold Coast. Is this just another acknowledgement of how well Port's going that Bossy would choose to not go for those and come in?
No, it's an interesting. There's no doubt that he likes the look of the program that Kenny is putting together. He sees it as a young, exciting playing group. He sees he's been watching the brand of footy that's being played, and has enjoyed it. And I think that we get a lot of comment around that. And I think that he's also rightly noted that the progress that's been made over the last two and 3 years, and I think that's all been quite impressive to him. Now, in regards to those other roles, I don't know whether he's interested at this point to be going for a senior role, to be honest. In fact, I'm pretty sure he hasn't done any of that. So I think the opportunity to get back into a good program in the midfield management role suited him at this time of his career.
Keith, obviously winding down the trade period, less than 48 hours to go now.
Yeah.
How confident are you that Paddy West can get done, Paddy Ryder?
Yeah, trade periods often go like this, don't they? They get out of the blocks really quickly, and then they dawdle for about a week, and now we get down to the business end. All I can say really is that all parties are still approaching it in the right manner. I think that there is really some goodwill around to get a deal done. Whether that will be done is anyone's guess at this stage, but right now the discussions are going well, and I feel relatively confident. History tells you that 95% of these sort of deals get done in the end, and I wish they didn't have to take it down to the wire every day, but I think we're okay.
What's the stumbling block, Keith? What's really the crux of the problem here? Why hasn't it been done?
Well, look, I think that Essendon, quite rightly, are saying that Paddy Ryder is a really high-value player, and so the challenge is to find an appropriate level of compensation, or trade equity for him, and we've been knocking that back and forth for the good part of a week. So, and I guess it's a situation where you've just got to explore all the different avenues before you can settle on an appropriate deal, and I think that's where we're at. But I like the tone of it at the moment. Everything seems to be going okay.
Have you offered more than just pick 17? You offered a couple of picks or a pick and a player?
Well, I think I've got to tell you that it does my head in, to be honest. The sort of deals that get thrown around, and there's been multiple variations across the few days that we've been dealing with Essendon, and so it'd be fair to say that there have been conversations around players, other picks, other clubs. It's incredible the sort of things that get dragged in here. But we're at the business end of it now.
But there's been talk you've only offered pick 17. Now it was 16, now it's 17. That's not true. You are offering more than just that pick.
Yeah, there is more. There's more on the table at the moment.
Essendon have boosted their ruck stocks by getting Giles, so it looks like they're preparing for Ryder to leave.
I think Paddy's been pretty clear about that, he, one way or another, he's made it pretty clear that he doesn't see himself at Essendon. So I guess that's good management on their behalf.
It's not your preference to go to the grievance tribunal, I assume.
Look, I don't think it's great for footy or for anyone, to be honest, but we will go there if that's what it takes. Well, in fact, it's Paddy and his manager will decide to go there. It's their issue, and I'm pretty sure that they're determined to do that. If it comes to that, the language that we've been using and Essendon have been using is that it's in no one's best interest for that to happen, to be honest. And I think we'd all prefer that we don't have to go there.
And Dan Geringe still on the radar?
Yeah, Dan's on the radar, and again, we will go down to the wire on that one. He also has been pretty clear about his intentions, and we would like to think that we can get a deal done to see him at Port Adelaide as well. That's slightly lower profile, but equally as important to us, and we've been working pretty hard on that one, so we're feeling okay.
Okay, so you've got picks you can give or players for him, or you've obviously got to give up a bit to get Ryder. Can you? Yeah. No, there are things you can do. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and we're in good discussions with the Gold Coast on that.
All good, guys. I just want to ask about Voss again. You said that Hart spoke with him earlier. Do you think him being on the recruit with Burjo had anything to sway him to come here?
No, I don't think so. I think that the only issue there was that he was really enjoying the recruit, and it was a very hard decision for him to walk away from that. So I reckon that was the only issue. It wasn't so much about Burjo or that association. He's really, his observations have been made about the club more broadly, I think.
Keith, you mentioned before that Vossi has coaching in his blood and sort of didn't realise that he'd miss it as much as he has. He spoke, and he said he's on a multi-year deal. Have you spoken to him about future ambitions? Does he still have that burning desire to get back to senior level?
Yeah.
Comfortable that he's going to be here for a while.
Yeah, look, I've changed my view a little bit on that. If you reflect back to the Alan Richardson days, I was very fired up about that for a number of reasons. One, that I felt it was really disruptive, and it was late, and it was difficult, and more it was a gap, and it was a loss of a great coach. A year on, I'm a little bit more philosophical about it. As you put people into senior assistant roles, or the senior sort of coaching roles like this, the opportunity to get recruited is always there, and it will be the same for Michael. Now, right now, he's saying to me that he's very, very happy just to roll into a good program and recommit to coaching, and has no intentions at this stage of doing that in the future. Now, I'm sure that will change as we go forward, but I don't get as concerned about it as I used to. I see that as slightly disruptive, very positive for our program, and good for the guys who get that opportunity. And we just have to make sure that we've got good coaches coming through the system all the time, and that's what we'll be focusing on. So I'm sure he won't rule it out down the track, but right now it's the last thing on his mind.
And is everything in place now for next season in terms of support staff and coaching staff especially?
Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, we were contemplating whether we needed a little bit more on the development coach side of things, but we found a way through that, and we're more than pleased with the structure we've got in place.